All right, welcome back to another live stream. We've got a big stream for you today. We have the PPI coming in. And remember, one of the recent PPIs is extremely volatile for the crypto market. So we can expect potentially a little bit of volatility as a result of this data, which is supposed to be coming in approximately 12 minutes. So you're here at the right time. Make sure you're smashing the likes as you're joining into the stream. But it's going to be big. Now, the biggest one usually is CPI. CPI usually is the one that has the biggest impact on markets, but PPI has been known to spook the markets here and there. We had an unusually high PPI relatively recently, and that drastically reduced the odds of rate cuts. And then Powell came out at the Jackson Hole event and said, we're going to get rate cuts. So it overrode the high PPI read, and we had negative labor market reads as well. So I'm expecting a bit of volatility here, guys, coming into this this data point. And yeah, it's in 10 minutes time. So smash the likes, get your questions in the chat. Let me just see if everything's running smoothly. Seems like we are. How's it going, Velez? Welcome to the stream. Let me just post this on X so we can get some more people in here. Man, these economic data points have been extremely important for Bitcoin lately. Seems like every time we get a job market report, an inflation report, it basically determines where the market goes for the next few days. So stock market's at all-time highs. Bitcoin's currently sat just below 113K, which is the critical resistance we need to get above. You can see every single time we've come in contact with this line, this blue line, we have rejected on Bitcoin. So if we get a low PPI and a low CPI, that will increase the probability of, lots of rate cuts going forward, which will, in theory, be very good for risk on markets here. So let's just check in at some and look at some of the current probabilities just before we get this PPI read, and then we'll look at it afterwards and see if there's any change. I would expect there to be some form of a change because usually PPI indicates how CPI might go as well. So anyway, let's look at the current probabilities. So it looks like we have basically a guaranteed rate cut in September, only a 4% chance of no change. However, we're getting only around a 14% chance of a 50 basis point rate cut and an 83% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut. Now, I actually think, as I said on my last live stream and in my video today, I actually think the market is underestimating the potential right now of a 50 basis point cut. I think we're actually underestimating that a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean I'm saying that is what I expect, but I'm just saying I think there's a higher probability of a 50 basis point than what people are giving it credit. Now, obviously, the data we get in 9 minutes time will really show what's going to happen. The data we get in 9 minutes time and the data we get tomorrow. And I'll probably stream the data tomorrow as well for you guys, because I know you guys like the live streams when we get these important data reads come in, because I mean they're pivotal for the markets. We've seen this bull run. Crypto has been very, very closely aligned with monetary policy, like more than ever. This bull run, crypto has moved based on monetary policy and the stock market. So the S&P 500 right now is at all-time highs. All-time highs on the S&P, essentially, just below all-time highs. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens because the last few data reports have been big surprises for the most part. We just got 900,000 as an uptick on the job revisions. People were saying that would be 200,000. It was 900,000. It was almost a million. So basically all the data reads we've got now, the last 3 or 4 data points we've got have been volatile events. So 8 minutes time, we're going to be getting the PPI come in. And then tomorrow we'll get CPI, and I'll be live for both of these. Crypto Archie the Gangster, thanks for tuning in to the stream, man. How's everyone doing? I'm doing great. How's everyone else doing? Assuming bullish results, what coins are you betting on? So these are my current top coins. Mickey, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I went and did a deep dive. I am a huge fan. Yeah, these are my top coins. And yeah, if it comes in good, then we're probably going to see breakouts across the board. I mean, the big one for me is just Bitcoin getting above this 113.4K. But I expect the total 3 chart to put in a new all-time high relatively soon as well. The total 3 chart it's just been hovering around its all-time high. It's just waiting for something, right? And I believe it is waiting for the inflation data that we're going to be getting, which will facilitate the trajectory of the Fed. That will determine the trajectory of the Fed and how many rate cuts we're going to get, and whether they potentially cut 50 basis points in September, something which a lot of people are discounting. A lot of people are very discouraged about the idea of 50 basis points. They don't think it's going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how the data goes. A lot of people are saying inflation could come in weak, could come in low. I'm not really expecting the hottest inflation print, to be honest with you. Why do I think the new VIP gem is so bullish? Because the listings, the backing, the chart, there's a lot of things. I'm a big fan of it. What do I think about ICP? Do I think it's dead? I'm not the biggest fan of ICP. I could give you 50 to 100 coins that I prefer. But it's not awful, but the chart does look awful. But the project isn't. Could Casper hit the previous all-time high without smart contracts? Maybe if you've got a tier 1 listing, but I think smart contracts will be the thing that propels Casper to a new high. That's what I think. So guys, 5 minutes or less now, we will be getting in the PPI data. This is going to be huge for markets. I'll be streaming it live. I'll get you it first. Don't go anywhere else. We'll get it right away. So yeah, I think markets will potentially go risk on. If inflation comes in low, that is essentially a signal for the Fed to cut. It's that simple. Obviously, if inflation comes in high, then we might dump a little bit, but I still think even if inflation comes in high here, we will still get the cut in September, just it will be a 25 basis point cut. So the main thing you're probably looking at here with this inflation read is whether we get 50 basis points or whether we get 25 basis points. It might affect some of the future probabilities, like it might affect the way Powell comes out on his speech, the rhetoric he gives about inflation. But man, could you imagine if inflation comes in weak, Powell is just going to stress that inflation's well anchored and the jobs market now is weakening, so we need to cut. It would be so bullish if that happened. So we'll watch it very closely. And, yeah, just less than 3 minutes, we're going to get this come in. Yeah, what we need to do with Bitcoin to be bullish is to get a confirmed break above 113.4K. That is what we need. A confirmed break above this level that we have now rejected at multiple times. If we get a confirmed break above that, we've basically now invalidated the downtrend that we've been in. You can see here, right? We were in a downtrend. If we get a confirmed break above the previous range high, swing high, then we are very bullish. It's looking good if we get that. So the stock market's looking like it's going to be up today, up 0.27% in the S&P 500, Nasdaq up 0.37. Apple just released their or they announced their new iPhone. People are very discouraged with that. Let me know what you think about the Apple announcement. They're going to be bringing out a thin iPhone Air. Just looks the same every year, the Apple stuff. Just looks the same every time. Do I hold Aether? No, I don't. Can we get 35 basis points? No, usually it's 25 or 50, usually. So 112.6K on Bitcoin, heading into a very important data event. Remember was it the last PPI? I think it was. Was it the last one? It spooked the markets. It came in pretty high. Was it the last one or the one before that? Sometimes I lose my memory. I can't remember. But it was before the Jackson Hole event. I remember that. What PPI data is bullish? If it's low. If it's low, then the Fed have the green light to cut. The only thing stopping the Fed from cutting 50 basis points is high inflation. That's the only concern because they've been worried about tariff inflation and all of that. If tariffs were not a factor, if inflation was not a fear, we would have had a 50 basis point cut by now and the Fed wouldn't have been on pause for so long. So, yeah, that's kind of what's going on. But we're going to get it to you guys live. It's supposed to be coming in literally couple of minutes here, less than a couple of minutes. Should be literally imminent. Let's see what happens. Boom, bullish. Bullish. Wow. I knew it. Why did I feel like it would come in low? 0.1% month over month, estimated was 0.3%. Bitcoin right now is breaking out, guys. So US producer prices rise 2.6% year over year, estimated 3.3%. So it came in significantly lower. PPI came in significantly lower than expected. This is going to alter these probabilities now, guys. Just watch. There we go already. 50 basis points now increasing in its probability to 20%. Let's see if that changes during the course of this live stream. PPI came in lower than expected. Green light for a cutting cycle from the Fed. 50 basis points, now a potential talking point. Live discussing it. Yeah, so I don't know why. I just had this slight suspicion it was going to come in lower than expected. I think it was maybe the trueflation stuff I've been seeing. I don't quite know, but I had a suspicion it would come in lower than expected here. And now all of a sudden you have a talking point now for 50 basis points. I mean, it doesn't mean it's still not necessarily the likely scenario. But you have a talking point now about 50 basis points in September. And remember, we have the CPI coming in tomorrow. So CPI will be coming in tomorrow. If that comes in low as well, you might just see the Fed cut 50 basis points. You might see it. Honestly. Crazy. And quite often the PPI can show you maybe how the CPI might be as well. So if PPI just came in low, which it did, then CPI tomorrow might be bullish as well. So Bitcoin wicks slightly above this support here. Let's see if we can sustain it because we don't want another fake out. We don't want another fake out. Let's see what my indicator is saying on BTC. Pull it up on the hourly here. See if it's flashing buy, flashing sell. I bet the CPI comes in hot. Look, it's possible still, but I would expect it to be lower than expected anyway. Let's pull it up on the 15 minutes, see what is going on here. So this is the level, guys. This is a really, really important level. You can see there's some sells coming in as we approach this resistance. How many times have we rejected now at this level? So many times. I mean, on the 15-minute, you can see all the times we have rejected here. It just seems like every single time we hit this level, we reject. It's such a difficult level for Bitcoin to get above. It would be amazing if we could just get up to 114. The thing is it really going to give us a definitive breakout here if we have CPI coming in tomorrow? There's still a slight bit of uncertainty. So we might not be like all systems go just yet. I mean, it's possible, right? I mean, it came in very, 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 very good. So it is possible we really just go all systems go. But I think there's still going to be a little bit of hesitancy amongst traders about tomorrow. Because yes, PPI could come in great, and then CPI tomorrow comes in a little bit disappointing. So I don't know if it's necessarily all systems go, long everything time yet, but it's close, okay? It's very, very close. Yeah, Trump said we needed 75 basis point. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But yeah, Bitcoin currently slightly above our critical resistance right now. So my long on Blowfin should be doing okay. Should be doing all right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm up 47% on my Bitcoin long on Blowfin, looking great. I mean, look, I didn't put much money into this trade. I know I've said it many times. It was kind of more of a practice trade to show my VIP members how profitable trading can actually be if you know what you're doing. And I know what I'm doing. But yeah, those who followed my Bitcoin long would be printing right now in the VIP. And by the way, I wanted to mention we have a special promo bonus available on Blowfin where you could potentially get $1,000 bonus on the table. Just follow all the steps. There's a few terms and conditions here. All you need to do is deposit one of these amounts of money, keep it in your account for 3 days, and then you need to actually do some trades to actually qualify. You need to do a certain volume in trades to qualify, but very, very good potential bonus there. Potentially getting $1,000 completely free. I mean, all you need to do is deposit money, and it will give you $1,000 if you meet the criteria. And the link is down below, and it's in the pinned comment. So let's take a look at Polymarket, see what we're getting on some of these probabilities here. So yeah, 20% chance of a 50 basis point, 80% chance of 25 basis points. It's going to be very interesting to monitor that, especially as we go into CPI tomorrow. If we zoom in a little bit more, Bitcoin now slightly below that resistance, slightly below. We did get a wick above, but it needs to sustain because this is such a key level of resistance. Israeli strikes on Doha will dampen crypto. Middle East on alert. Yeah, there is a bit of a potential worry with that conflict for sure. It's been known to affect the markets already, but I think honestly, the market's become a little bit numb now to geopolitical tensions. We've had so much of it since Russia and Ukraine went to war that I don't think it's going to be a major black swan event unless literally nukes are fired. And if that happens, then we've got bigger things to worry about than our crypto bags. But yeah, for those of you who say monetary policy and all of this and economics doesn't have an impact on crypto, you must be clueless, because the reason we just had a little god candle there on Bitcoin is because of the PPI come in. I can't believe there's actually YouTubers out there who deny macroeconomics impact on crypto. So there is a 44% expected probability of 3 rate cuts this year. Yeah, so the 50 basis points at one point. So this is crazy. At the start of August, 50 basis points literally had a 2% chance. Now we're sat at around a 20% chance of 50 basis points in September. So let's take a look at some of the alts, see what's going on, see if we're getting any movement on the altcoins as a result of this bullish print. MYX continuing to rally. We were shorting and longing that on Blowfin in the Discord group, making a lot of money doing that. Avalanche up fairly nicely. Aerodrome up 2.2%. Fartcoin up 2%. This is in the last hour I'm looking at. Tau up almost 2% in the last hour. Say slightly positive as well. So we're seeing a bit of green come into the markets, whilst the fear and greed remains absolutely in neutral. I mean, almost in fear, actually. Look at that. So very much we are at a point where we've got lots of ammo to move up. And look at the altcoin season index. Altcoin season index 60 out of 100. According to CoinMarketCap. There's a few different altcoin season indexes, actually. There's quite a few. So you've got the CoinGlass one, which I look at. You've got the CoinMarketCap one. So the CoinGlass alt season index is saying that we're on 69. 69 out of 100. And the crypto one is saying CoinMarketCap one is saying 60. So CoinGlass is saying we're a bit closer to an alt season than CoinMarketCap is. And look at that. I mean, see how close we are to an alt season? The blue bar is what is considered alt season territory. We are extremely close to entering that blue bar. Last time we were in it was December 2024. So the problem is as well that people don't mention, by the time you're in the blue bar, you probably want to stop buying things and only entering trades. Because that by the point we actually flash altcoin season, you should have already packed your bags. It's already too late. By the time it flashes alt season, you want to be thinking about packing up. So that's one of the problems. Once all the mainstream YouTubers who are always late, just like Jerome Powell, once all the mainstream YouTubers just start saying, we're in alt season, usually you get into the end by that point. Especially once guys like Ben Cowan acknowledge that we're in an alt season. And look, I've got a lot of respect for Ben Cowan, but he hates altcoins in a way. Let's just be honest. He's a Bitcoin guy, and that's fine. I would be too if I got into Bitcoin early, probably. If I got into Bitcoin in like 2013. But the reality is when a lot of these mainstream YouTubers call altcoin season, it's already too late by that point. Why is Arrow and Virtuals blue? Because they are base coins. I'll get rid of that. It might be causing a little bit of confusion. They're coins on base, that's why. Yeah, Bitcoin at 113. After bullish PPI data. It's funny though, right? How people deny... Some people deny that PPI and CPI and jobs market moves crypto. People actually deny that, which is crazy to me. Yep, so Bitcoin currently just below that resistance. I think it's going to wait until tomorrow before we see the major breakout move. It's just going to wait for that confirmation of the CPI. Wow, look at Ethereum. Ethereum made a nice move up. So Ethereum had a bit of resistance there around 4.3K at a couple of rejection points there. Everything's ready, man. Everything's just waiting for the CPI to come out tomorrow, and then we will see a big move to the upside, in my opinion. I mean, we're already seeing a decent move up now in the last hour, but I think it's going to be way bigger what we see tomorrow. Ethereum's been compressing, so it's just been sideways like a stable coin, Ethereum. You can tell it's just waiting for a move. Look how sideways it is. It's crazy. It's like a stable coin. Look how sideways Ethereum has been. Is that USD? Is that USDC? That is so crazy. I don't think I've ever seen Ethereum that flat. Absolutely insane stuff. What are my top 4 RWA projects? I don't really have 4, to be honest with you. There isn't really that many good... There aren't really that many good RWA projects out there. I only really have like 1 or 2 that I like. Ondo would be the obvious play in RWA. But there are a few other decent ones. Like maybe there's 2 or 3 decent ones out there. But Ondo is the clear winner for me. I don't hold any others. Yeah, there's a jobs recession for sure. The labor market's weak. Inflation now is looking a little bit more flat. Things definitely weakening. So let's just tune in here, listen to what they have to say about this. Let's listen to the experts, as they call them.
and what consumers are paying
don't
don't always correlate to the same kind of degree that people expect.
Joining us around the table, Seth Carpenter of Morgan Stanley. Seth, good morning. It's good to see you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
I want to give you some time before we get into this data point to flesh out how you view the world right now, because I've been following your research, and certainly you and the team consider what took place on April 2nd and the months after that, not as an event, but as a process. And we've got to wait to let this play out in the coming months. Just flesh that out for us. How you're thinking about the world with regards to tariffs.
Is not.
Let me get into where he talks about the PPI.
Or the reason
why the central bank seems to be placing a greater emphasis on the slowdown that you're talking about, or as we saw yesterday, some of the revisions in just the labor market lack of momentum that we've seen.
Well, I think as a baseline forecast, and we have to make our baseline forecast, the answer to that is, yeah, the most likely outcome is that tariffs will lead to a one-time increase in the price level, which means that the inflationary effect, the percentage change in prices, will be temporary. I think that's a really great place to start a forecast. That's where our forecast is. That's not, though, the only game that the Fed has to play. They also have to ask, well, what if we are wrong about our forecast? What if things turn out differently than our baseline? And in particular, the last time we saw tariffs, and it was temporary, we had the biggest problem for the Fed was too low inflation, not too high inflation. Here we are over 4 years into inflation being above the Fed's target for a long time. Businesses are kind of getting used to inflation being high. Consumers might be getting used to inflation being high. They might be getting sick of it, but they also might put less effort into thinking, oh my God, do I have to go look somewhere else for an additional lower price? Because now everything is just more expensive. So I think there's a risk that the inflationary impulse is longer this time, gets more embedded. And let's not forget, in the services component of things, we have now labor restriction going on because of immigration. We talked about the revisions to the labor market. Job creation was less than people thought. Job creation has come down a great deal. The unemployment rate, 4.3%. I'm old enough to remember when 4.3% was actually pretty good. And it's about unchanged. It's only up a little bit from a year ago. What that to me says is that the labor supply side of things has also come down a lot. And so then the question becomes, how do the services industry, especially the ones who might find themselves constrained for labor, how does that show through in prices?
So that brings us to the data that we get today, which shows that inflation really isn't as big of a concern as some people expected when it comes to producer prices. We'll see what CPI has to say. Some people are calling for the Fed to cut in a more significant way next week, maybe even 50 basis points. Do you think that if they were to do so, or even 75 basis points, let's cater to that Bloomberg subscriber, do you think that that would actually ignite the risk of inflation over the medium term, or do you think that that would be appropriate?
So I think the risk is that it would be premature to cut 75 basis points for sure, and even 50 basis points. I don't know, from my judgment, that it balances the risk between slow growth and inflation. Now, newsflash.
Yeah, so some interesting stuff there. Obviously, the labor market data that we have, we can't. I don't fully trust it personally. I don't know about you guys, but I think the unemployment numbers are way worse than what they're making out. And we've seen that already with the revisions that we just got in. So unemployment is on the rise, and I think it's worse than people are making out. Some people are making out the labor market strong. I personally don't think it is. I think it's on the edge of a cliff. And yeah, I wanna maintain, I don't think they'll cut 50 basis points. I don't think that. I'm just saying that 17% probability might be a little bit lower than what it actually is. Powell has been on pause now for basically, 9 months, 10 months? Maybe when they start cutting again, it's going to be more forceful since they've been sat on their hands for so long. Maybe when it comes time to cut, they actually cut a bit harder. It seems like Powell changed after that Jackson Hole speech. It seems like he became a new man somehow. Maybe he got kicked up the ass by Trump or something. I don't know. But it seemed like a totally different guy. I'm unemployed. My whole area can't find a job. Yep. I hear this all the time, and they're trying to make us believe it's only 4% unemployed. I feel like it's way higher. The new Fed policy will be 3% inflation. Did AVAX just break out? Honestly, AVAX is a little bit underrated by many people. I'm not a huge AVAX lover, but I could see it making a move this bull run, especially if gaming comes back around. And yeah, the AVAX chart's looking good. Look at it on the daily there. Look at it on the daily. Just got above resistance. Major resistance on AVAX. AVAX could be a decent long. You could put your stop loss just below the resistance. AVAX could be a solid long. So the all-time high on AVAX is what? Wow, it's so far away. 147. Yeah, AVAX is looking good. I'm going to actually screenshot this chart and post it in my VIP because of how good it's looking. I know there's a couple guys actually in AVAX long positions right now. All right. Yeah, it looks very nice. Very clean looking chart. You know, you've got your clear bottoms down here. I like it when a chart has some structure. You've got your clear support zone down here. Clear support zone, and then you've got your resistance zone. We've just broken out of that resistance. So I would expect a pretty big move up on AVAX in the coming days, especially if the CPI comes in good. I would expect a move on AVAX, probably up to like $31 imminently. What was the PPI? It came in lower than expected. So PPI came in at 2.6%. The expectation was, what was it? I can't even remember. It was lower than expected. Wait, I'm not sharing my. Oh damn! I wasn't sharing my screen. I apologize. I apologize. There you go. So that was the AVAX chart. Was I not sharing it the whole time? Man, people need, you know, if something like that happens, everyone should spam in the chat. We can't see your screen. Sometimes people don't say anything. Like I'm talking, my mic's not on, and people don't say anything. But thanks for telling me, Bitcoin. Marek, welcome to the Discord. How do I join the Discord? When you sign up, it should give you a link to the Discord. It should all be there. But if you have any issues at all with connecting, because some people aren't used to Discord and stuff, then use the help chat. Use the help chat within the Discord. And one of my moderators will help you out. You join via Patreon? Yeah, that's fine. It should still work. It should still work. It should all be fine, but if you have any issues, just use the Discord help chat. I'll post a link now to the Discord. You have to connect your Patreon to Discord if you join through Patreon. Where to put stop loss for AVAX? I mean, it's up to you. If you're entering the trade, you know, it's up to you, man. But if it was me, I would set it just below the point of breakout. Because sometimes what they do is they try to get people stopped out, the exchanges, especially MEXC. I don't know why, but MEXC always hunt down the liquidity. I don't know why. Why in particular it's MEXC, and a lot of the other exchanges don't have the same issue. But whenever I see people trade on MEXC, they always get stopped out. So that's why I personally use Blowfin over MEXC. MEXC is fine for spot buying, but for futures, I don't use it. They also, there's a lot of allegations against them with the Casper price as well. So if I was longing AVAX, I would set my stop loss probably a bit below the support. So that way it could still come down a little bit and I won't get stopped out. But I wouldn't be using a ton of leverage either. I'd only be using like 5x. But it's already moved now, you know? I mean, it will still keep going up, I think, but ideally you would have caught the breakout just as it was happening. Crypto Cash, how's it going, man? Great to see you. OG viewer of the channel. What's your best guess for when SAY hits 50 cents? End of September. I think it'll be at 50. You see, my current thesis, and I could be completely wrong on this, but my current thesis is we could see Bitcoin form a potential top end of September, whereas the altcoins could keep going into October. Because we're at that point now where it's altcoin season rather than Bitcoin season. And what we saw in 2017 was a lot of the altcoins actually topped weeks after Bitcoin. Now, I've said a lot on this channel. I don't expect altcoins to top out months after Bitcoin. I don't expect that. But they could definitely top out a couple of weeks after Bitcoin. So maybe Bitcoin was to top end of September. Altcoins could top mid-October, for example. Now, those aren't necessarily predictions. I want to make it clear. I'm not predicting that. I'm just giving you scenarios. That's all I'm doing. I'm looking at potential scenarios. People need to be open to scenarios and not necessarily just blindly believe that they will happen that way. But yeah, I'd expect SAY to get around 50 cents by the end of this month and then probably $1 next month. Your entry on SAY is 15 cents. That's great, man. Yeah, I dropped a big buy alert at 15 cents on SAY as well. You want to start taking some profit? Do I think it's too early? I mean, it's never too early to take profits if that's what you're feeling. If you're overexposed, if you need the money, it's never too early to take profits. I want people to know that. But I would not be taking profits on SAY right now. In fact, I would be looking at adding to my position. I'm actually looking at potentially opening a long on SAY after I see the weekly close. Because to me, it looks like it's about to have a macro breakout here. Not a micro breakout, but a macro breakout. You can see every single time SAY has hit this resistance, it is rejected. Every time without fail. I believe this time we are going to see it breakout, and it's going to be a glorious move up when we see this. Is the boss meme coin worth a buy? It's okay. I actually told my VIPs about Ibiza Final Boss. I gave like a buy suggestion, you could say. It wasn't a buy alert, but I gave a suggestion, and it did over a 40x from my suggestion. I know a couple guys made 100 grand or so on that alert. They made around 6 figures. So yeah, some of my buy alerts and just recommendations, potential buy alerts, have been glorious in this group. And I like my group for the community as well. You know, people join because they want my buy alerts, but they stay because of the quality of the people in there, the quality of the community. I've been DCing into Guns, says 50 grand. Guns is a good buy as well. You know what's gonna explode? Yeah, Guns looking good. Guns looking good. I'm glad I put that buy alert out at 21 cents. Doubling down on Guns at the double bottom there. TA 101, guys, double bottom. TA 101. Double bottom, followed by a bounce. But yeah, I was going to say, you know what's looking good right now? Millionse. Millionse is looking phenomenal. Currently using the golden pocket as support here on this breakout. I'm telling you, if SE breaks out like we think it will, and it will be at 50 cents by the end of this month, then Millie is going to do a 5x by the end of this month if that happens, in my opinion. Such a nice looking chart. People saying altcoins might run into mid-2026. Yeah, there's an awful lot of people saying that. People say all kinds of things, you know, we just got to take it level by level. It's okay to believe that, but if things are flashing sell in October, then you should sell. You should be reactive to the levels, to the price levels. Wow, Ondo's up nicely today. Ondo's back above $1. Ondo Global Markets launch with tremendous success. Up 7.6% today for Ondo. Sol moving up nicely. Wow, big level here for Solana, guys. Golden pocket. Golden pocket resistance. If Solana gets above this golden pocket, we'll go into 220. We'll go into 252. If Sol gets above this level, we'll go into 252. It could be a good long on Sol. Could be a good long opportunity. Solana's looking primed. I'm getting excited. I think we're gonna have a big move here, guys. I'm getting really excited. Not getting ahead of myself because I understand the market makers like to play games with us, but I'm getting very excited here. We've got everything coming into play. We've got the cup and handle on total 3 ready for a new all-time high. We've got Bitcoin breaking out above its 113K resistance. Right now, it looks like it is all systems go. So I take back my words before about waiting for the CPI. It looks like we're not waiting for the CPI. It looks like we're just going above that resistance right now. Bitcoin doesn't even care right now about the CPI. God candle on Mavia. Look at that Bitcoin God candle almost. Yeah, so anyone saying that monetary policy and economic data doesn't affect Bitcoin, they are out of their minds. They are the stupidest people on the planet. Monetary policy and economic data is literally the thing that drives Bitcoin right now. Javier God candle, let's see. God wick. This is what happens in microcaps. You just see these crazy wicks. But Mavia will do fine. I'm bullish on Mavia. It was a great buy down here. Yeah, the coin to me that looks ready here is Millie on Say. I am so bullish on this. Regarding Say, in terms of market cap, the trend is not the same as the price, unlocks, and whatnot. Do you consider this? I consider unlocks, but Sui had a lot of unlocks, and Sui still pumped crazy for me. I remember buying Sui at 76 cents, and there were other YouTubers criticizing my decision, telling me that I shouldn't buy Sui because of the token unlocks. I kid you not. There's multiple YouTubers who said Archie's stupid for buying Sui back when it was at 76 cents. And the reason was for the unlocks, the unlock schedule. So unlocks do play a factor, but it's not something that always sways me against buying a coin, unless it's like ridiculous unlocks, unless it's really excessive. Like a 5% circulating supply going to 80% in a couple months. But if it's like a 30% circulating supply going to 50 by the end of the year, it's not a huge concern of mine. But yeah, breakout here on Bitcoin, official breakout, 113,685. Crypto Galaxy says rate cuts and CPI doesn't matter in crypto. That is crazy talk. That is insane. No way. People who say stuff like that, they don't understand economics. They don't understand markets. Like that makes zero sense. How do you explain the God candle we just had? The minute PPI dropped. Like Bitcoin has been waiting. We get PPI drop, bullish, we get above resistance. It's not a freaking coincidence. You don't need to be a genius to realize that. 235 in the room and 64 likes. Yeah, let's get those likes a lot higher. 64 likes isn't great, but we can work on it. Appreciate you being here, Cache. Hope you're doing well. Cache has been an OG long-time viewer of the channel and moderator, helped me out a ton. So I want to give a big thanks to him. But total 3 getting very close now to all-time highs. Let's measure the exact percentage move away. Total 3 is a 5% move away from a new all-time high. And yet again, we are seeing the others chart outperform the other indexes. Man, it's crazy. Some people have been saying that Ethereum is going to crash in September. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Ben Cowen's calling for an Ethereum crash. Yeah. Yeah, Ben Cowen expects an Ethereum crash in September. I don't see that. I think there's going to be a lot of people wrecked based off that principle of Ethereum crashing this month. They're all going to FOMO back in when Ethereum's above 5K. I'm telling you. The only reason why we would sell off would be CPI coming in bad tomorrow. I forgot the like button. Done. Perfect. Yeah, a lot of people forget, right? But it is just one button and it helps out more than people can imagine with the channel growth. How is Aerodrome looking weak? I don't know what you mean, BL. How is it weak? Literally just made a major move to the upside. Arrow just did a 513% move, and it retraced like 28%. Like that is not weak. Did Sol break out as well? Sol is on the edge of a breakout. Honestly, I would consider longing this. I wouldn't use a ton of leverage, but I would consider longing Sol. On Blowfin, if it got above this level. Just make sure the fibs are on correctly. Yeah, Sol just needs to get above 225. And it's game on for Sol. That's all it needs to do. Gonna just post this chart in the VIP chat as well for anyone who's not watching the stream, so they have access to it. That breakout on AVAX is amazing. Yeah, so for those of you wondering, like, what do I do in my time when I'm not live streaming and I'm not doing videos? Usually I'm in this group, posting alpha and, you know, entering the voice chats and the live streams and stuff like that. That's where I spend the majority of my time, doing that and also researching the markets and reading economic articles and stuff like that. Yeah, a break above 225 would warrant a 252 Sol. Sorry, 250. Yeah, 225 would be 252 for Sol. Man, why is it? There you go. Sometimes when I'm trying to do 3 or 4 different things at once, I start typing wrong. It's so annoying. Trying to read the comments, trying to talk and type at the same time. Got too many monitors. Nelson says, what about XRP? $350 looks easy for Sol. I've got a fib target at 420 approximately. Just slightly below 420. Imagine the meme coin chain goes to 420. 420.69 per coin. So yeah, that AVAX long would be printing if you entered that. Such a nice setup there on AVAX. Say you're going to pull a Cardano and do a 65x, imagine. I don't think it'll do that, but if it did, I'd be an extremely wealthy man. I'm already rich, but if I got a 65x on say, it would be stupid, man. I'd potentially be the richest 21-year-old in the world if that happened. Non-inherited money, obviously. Because maybe there's a 21-year-old out there who has billions from the grandparents or whatever, but I'm not including that. No royals or anything like that. What's up? How's it going, Crypto Tech Odie? Suddenly Bybit became number 2 for Casper with the market cap that Cas has. Yeah, Casper looks good right now, actually. I mean, it's still below the macro resistance, so it's not like looking amazing, but I have faith that Casper will make a move at some point. But it's not my priority altcoin at the moment. $420.69 per coin, magical. Imagine that on Sol. Yeah, I don't think Say will do a 65x. That's crazy talk. I mean, maybe next bull run, but not this cycle. My realistic target for Arrow is between 5 and 7x. I've got a 3 to 7x written down. But yeah, 5 to 7x is also realistic. But Arrow's moved up a lot since I put some of the previous targets on it. You got to remember, Arrow made a 500+% move from the lows. Sol flying, potential ETH killer. Yeah, we're probably going to have an Ethereum killer narrative soon. Because Ethereum just made a big move. Usually after Ethereum makes a big move, all the catch-up trade guys come out. This is the next Ethereum. No, this is the next Ethereum. No, this is the next Ethereum. All those guys come out. And that's where you see big moves for the other L1s, the likes of Sui, the likes of Sol, the likes of AVAX. And it's not a coincidence right now. AVAX is breaking out. You know, people are starting to look elsewhere at some other L1s. VIP gem is pumping. Nice. Nick. By the way, if you are a VIP, don't mention the VIP gem in the chat. Otherwise, I'll have to time you out in the chat. I don't want to do that, but don't mention it. It's a private, secret gem. But I'm glad it's pumping. Let me take a look at the chart on another screen because I don't want to leak it. You know, I give you guys enough alpha for free. There needs to be some things here and there that I just give to the VIP members. Let's take a little look. Yeah, it's pumping nicely. Pumping nicely here. But I still think it's got way more to go. Is Say above the downtrend now? Yes. Say has officially gotten above its downward sloping resistance. Finally. However, I want to stress this. I really want to stress this matter. We have not yet had a weekly candle close above it. However, we have had multiple days above it. We even had a daily candle close above it back in August, and then we came all the way straight back down to 26 cents. So I would not enter along personally on Say until I see a bit more confirmation, maybe 2 consecutive daily candles or maybe a weekly close above it. Yes, maybe by that point it's a little bit higher in price, but that is the risk I'm prepared to take before I enter a leverage position on it. Because we do have something that could potentially dump us tomorrow or something that could potentially pump us, right? But we have an uncertain event tomorrow. And when there's an uncertain event tomorrow, I would usually be a little bit cautious about entering macro longs. Just wait for that CPI, see how that is. If that comes in low, then maybe that is your green light to long Say. But yeah, Say is looking great. Looking really impressive, actually, here. Dominance is just neutral today. But dominance, by the way, it is on the edge of a cliff. So Benjamin Cowen's calling for dominance to go way up. Right now, it's looking like it's on the edge of a cliff, looking like it could potentially lose massive support, especially if CPI comes in green tomorrow, comes in bullish for us. And by the way, bullish CPI would be low CPI. That's what would be bullish. Bought the secret gem. Nice. Congrats. Ondo broke at its resistance. Not that I'm seeing. It had some resistance at this fib level, but it was higher in July. But yeah, the fact that it got above $1, I guess it's above psychological resistance. Summit says, I booked a free call today, but there's no response. Did you follow all the steps? Summit, did you follow all the steps to get in the Discord and things like that? I'll check up on it for you later, but you have to follow the steps and get in the Discord group and all of that to book the free call. Like, you didn't put a message in the one-to-one call portal, right? Can you chart AVAX? Yeah, I looked at AVAX earlier. It's looking really good. So if you're an AVAX holder right now, you're doing great. Or it's looking great for you. Clean breakout. Do I think the cycle top ends before the end of this year? I think so. I think it ends this year, but we'll see. Got to take it level by level with the charts. Yeah, well, look, the guy who's doing the free calls, he's getting a lot of free calls coming in, so he can't be chasing people up. You got to get there on time. You've got to get there on time, and you know, he doesn't want to be chasing people up, Amory. Because look, we're doing it for free. It's to help you guys, so there's not really any leniency. If you turn up 5 minutes late to the call, unfortunately you miss your shot because it's a free call. You know, we're doing it out of the kindness. We're doing it out of kindness. You know. Sorry, could you please elaborate on the chat? When you book the call, it tells you all the information on how you get the call. It tells you everything. You just have to follow those steps. So you come to WAP, you click book a call, and when you click it, it'll tell you everything you need to know about booking the call. Pepe looks like it's ready to move. Good shout on Pepe. Let me take a look. Had Pepe on my radar. Wow, yeah, Pepe breakout here. Pepe breakout. Thanks for telling me. I'm probably going to enter a long on Pepe. Probably going to enter a long here on Pepe. I had my call with Bren. I was just trying to help, man. Oh, no worries. Sorry. I didn't realize you had your call. Based off what you said, it seemed like you got the wrong time or something, so I apologize. Yeah, Pepe's a potential long. Man, it's like I don't know what to long. There's so many opportunities. There's Solana, there's Pepe. I've been tracking this Pepe chart for a while. It's been in a downtrend. It's just broken out of that downtrend now. Came down to the golden pocket and it's broken out. So Pepe is looking like a good long. Sol's looking like a potential good long if it gets above that golden pocket. AVAX just left the station. We're looking good, guys. We are really looking good. Data usually comes out. Is it 10:30 Eastern time? I know it in Dubai time. It's 4:30 in Dubai time, PM. Did you drop an email, Summit? Did you drop an email? You like the new VIP coin. I'm glad you like it. I think it's going to print for the VIPs. I think it's going to make some really good gains for us. It's already moving up significantly here, so glad to see people printing, as always. Love to see it. Thoughts on AVNT? Bullish. Thoughts on Fartcoin? Bullish. Yeah, Fartcoin, Fartcoin, not necessarily above resistance, but it's above support. It bounced off its support. Thoughts on XRP? I'm not the biggest fan of XRP, but the chart looks decent. The chart setup looks good. Yeah, so guys, we're going to be wrapping up the stream here soon because the viewers are dropping off. We've been live for a while. Make sure you get on over to Blowfin using the link down below. And there's a current offer available. Depending on how much you deposit and trade, you can qualify for $1,000 in potential bonuses. So use that link down below. Make sure you use my link to do it. And also check out that VIP group link down below for 24/7 active Discord chats, voice chats as well. And consider booking a call for completely zero charge, completely free, with my closest representative, someone out of my team who's very knowledgeable on the market. So check all of that out, guys. Link down below. I appreciate you tuning in for the stream. We'll be live tomorrow for CPI. The market's looking good, and I'm very excited. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, and I look forward to seeing you for the next live stream or video.